Ooh, boy. All right. What time is it? It's no, it's 5 o'clock in the morning now. Gluten. We're going to talk about gluten right now because a lot of people don't know what it is I'm about to tell you about gluten. Because I'm about to just expand your mind on this whole gluten thing here we got going. All right. Check this out. What is gluten? Okay, a lot of people are hearing about, gluten-free this. They don't even know why it should be why I should be gluten-free. I ain't got a problem with gluten. Gluten ain't giving me any problems. I'm fine. I think I'm fine. Let me explain something to you and explain ways you can start to diagnose yourself for the symptoms of what we call gluten sensitivity or gluten intolerance, or what the medical industry would like to call celiac disease. Okay, by the time I'm done explaining this, you should realize that it's not really a sensitivity or a celiac disease or gluten intolerance or this, that, and the third. It's like having a chlorine bleach sensitivity, or a chlorine bleach intolerance. There's probably somebody out there that can just drink chlorine bleach and they don't puke. But then you probably drink it and you're probably going to puke. And it's just, I guess, you're intolerant and they're just a little sensitive. And when you look at these terms, just don't pay attention to them. Get into the science, okay? So what we're going to do right here is we're going to get into the science, all right? Straight off the back, what is gluten, okay? Gluten is the protein found in every single grain. Okay, remember what I just now said. Gluten is the protein found in every single grain. That is what we have missed, and I think they wanted us to miss that. Okay, there is gluten in. I got so many tabs open now because I've been on this for the last 34 hours. There's gluten, right, in every single grain that's broken down. It has two subfractions in there. There's a promaline, and there is a glutamine. This is in every single grain, the subfraction of it once it's broken down. Okay? Wheat has the highest percentage of protein. It has a percentage of 70%. Okay? The promaline, these are the names of the glutens that are in grains, okay? The name of the gluten or promaline that is in wheat is gliadin, okay? So when it comes to gluten sensitivity and so on and so forth, what these guys are always looking for is the protein gliadin. That's what they're looking for. So if you have a product or you bought a product and they're saying, hey, it's gluten-free, what they're telling you is it's gliadin-free. Okay? They're telling you that the gluten protein, the promaline in wheat, gliadin, is not present. Okay? But what they're not telling you is this. Rye has a promaline called zecalinin. Oats have a promaline called avenin. Then you have barley, which has hordein. Then you have millet, which has panasin. Then you have corn, which has zein. Then you have rice, which has orzonin. And then you have sorghum, which has caffein in it. Okay? Rye has 30 to 50% of this protein. Oats has 16%. Barley has 45% of this protein. Millet has 40%. Corn has 55 to 60% of this protein in there. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is wheat, rye, oat, barley, millet, corn, rice, sorghum, all of these have gluten. They all have a gluten protein inside of them. They all possess this promaline. Okay? The thing is, do you see what's happening with wheat already? Wheat, all right. Woo, boy. Man, they are good. Wheat, rye, and corn. Okay, as I look here, wheat, rye, corn, and barley have the highest percentage of this protein, this gluten protein, inside of them. Okay, through disease and time, okay, and consistently being sick and having headaches and migraines, we've been able to figure out that the initial wheat gluten, the gliadin, was a problem. So what the industry did was they put the scope and the spotlight on that, okay? And they ain't put the spotlight on nothing else. They didn't tell y'all that, you know, corn has gluten in it. They didn't tell y'all that rice has gluten in it. They didn't tell y'all that. Why didn't they tell y'all that? They didn't tell y'all that because what? All the gluten-free stuff is made out of what? It's made out of corn and it's made out of rice. Or they make it out of potato. That's what they're... That's what they... So basically, all your gluten-free items that you think are so gluten-free have actually been made with other items with a different gluten in there. So from now on, when you look at these items, you can now know, you know what? I saw that video Damian Michaels made, and that may be wheat gluten-free, but what about oat glutens, barley gluten, corn gluten, and rice gluten, and rye gluten? Because that's gliadin-free. Because what they should be putting on there as far as gluten-free is, that is gliadin-free. Okay? Because that's the one wheat, that's the one gluten that is in wheat. Okay? Now, going forward from that, basically what the problem with wheat is, and the problem that we need to understand is that it causes a whole bunch of problems. Okay? And the reason it causes a problem is this. Our body cannot digest this. You cannot digest this. If anybody wants to know where leaky gut syndrome comes from, leaky gut syndrome comes from these grains. They come from these grains and the bad combinations of food that we combine with these grains. What are all these grains? These grains are additives. They're additives. Okay? Nobody just goes and has wheat. Okay? Nobody just goes and has wheat. Nobody just goes and has corn. Nobody just goes and has barley. Nobody just goes and has rye. These are a combination of something. These are used to bind something to something. We either using it to wrap or make a sandwich in something, or we're using it as a side of something there, as a carbohydrate. We are using these in conjunction with something else, not realizing that our body does not know what these are and cannot break these down. We were not meant to break these down. What are these? These are seeds from grass. All of these things, these grains, they come from grass. It's grass. These came up and these seeds came up. And then what do? We strip them. Their fiber, their sperm, we broke them all the way down to a simpler form so that we can actually use them as food, which you can't. You can't use this. And we've been doing this for years, trying to, you know, get by, not realizing that these wheats, these corns, the rice and all this other stuff, these things weren't actually made to be staples in our mainstream diet. These were things that were made, when the rice is there, when the wheat's there and the wheat's growing. If you have a time throughout the year where food is absolutely scarce and you cannot eat absolutely anything, then at that moment, you would have went into your storage and you would have selected something like this to eat. This is not supposed to be a mainstream in your diet. It's not supposed to be a staple in your diet, okay? The problem that we're having now with all of this gluten that's in everything, okay? And they did research, and the research they found was when they took rice, the proteins of rice, and did a test on that, it caused enterocolitis, okay? That sounds like a big word. It ain't. The medical industry always uses these huge words to make it seem like it's something. What is colitis? Inflammation of the colon, okay? Enterocolitis, what does that mean? Rice entered the colon, caused inflammation. That's enterocolitis. It entered the colon and caused inflammation. Bam, done. You are a scientist. You're a genius. It's as simple as that. Okay? They did the same research, but on the first time when they did the research with the rice, they just introduced the rice to see if they would get an inflammatory reaction, and they did. Okay? On this other test, what they did was they actually compared wheat gluten to corn gluten, and they got the same inflammatory response. From corn. Now, we already know we ain't supposed to be eating corn. Everybody knows you're supposed to be eating corn. You know you can't digest corn. I already made an old post about corn, a video about corn. Everybody always knows this. But this adds to it. Now you know corn has a gluten in there that also affects you, that also fucks your shit up. You understand? Okay, let me look around here because I need to look at some things to spark some other things inside of me. Okay, gluten's going to cause things into you like Parkinson's disease. Okay, gluten will cause tremors. Gluten will cause vitiligo. All right, the gluten will cause vaginitis. Okay, you got some females out there with funny smelling vaginas with the fishy smell. You know, the vaginitis is usually called a bacterial vaginitis. But basically, what happens is the gluten, the overconsumption of gluten in your diet is throwing off the flora and pH of your vagina, and it's causing an influx of the bad bacteria to grow, which causes your vagina to have that fishy smell. No, it doesn't mean she's sleeping around with 500 million dudes. No, it doesn't mean she's clean and she doesn't shower. It just means she's not really paying attention to her diet and the balance of her digestive flora. And if she doesn't pay attention to that, yeah, she will end up with that fishy smell down there. And to compound on that, if she also wears nylon or polyester panties, which don't allow the vagina to breathe, for you ladies out there, it should be 100% cotton. I don't give a damn if it's laced or how cute it is. That will also compound on top of her bad diet and give the area down there an absolutely horrible smell. Okay. What else do we got here? Abdominal pain. Okay. ADHD. Alopecia, which is hair loss. A lot of people don't understand that spontaneous abortion is also here. A lot of people don't understand that you can lose your hair and you can actually have abdominal pains and have problems going on in your body based off of just these grains. Just these grains alone, just these glutens alone will cause these problems in your body. And the reason is because this is your digestive system. You understand? This is your digestive system. In your digestive system, you have villi, little hairs in your digestive system. These little hairs in there, they absorb nutrients from your food. They absorb the nutrient in there. Inside of here, there's cells, all kinds of cells. They absorb the nutrients, they break them down, they absorb them into your body. And then on the other side, on the underside here, down here, is the bloodstream. This is where your blood is flowing. Okay? This is where the blood is flowing, all right? Blood is flowing down here. Now the thing's got to go through the villi, through here, into your bloodstream that's flowing down here. But the problem is, this is what happens. We keep eating grain. We keep eating grain. We keep eating grain. Then a whole bunch of grains get all clobbered up and glumped up over here with your cheese and your bread and all that other stuff. And then it sits here. Then it just sits. It sits, and it rots. And you see this villa that was just standing up, doing this job and doing this, boom. It's flat. You killed it. This flat, boom. This flat. It killed it. This starts to break down. Your intestinal wall starts to break down. Okay? Your colonocytes start to break down. Then look what you got here. This starts to open up and seep up. It starts to seep open. Okay? You have space in between your intestinal cells. It's about 1 to 3 microns. When you develop leaky gut syndrome, it opens up to 100 to 200 microns. That much. That's how much it opens. So it goes from being nice and close to your villi being here, absorbing the food, to the villi just going, oh, fuck it, man. This dude just keeps on eating Philly cheese substeaks. Fuck it. Collapses. This starts to open up. Now what happens? Now all that shitty food that you're eating that's coming in, it doesn't have this guy right here to absorb it, to send information to the cells, to break it down, to send it to the bloodstream. Now this shit just slips right on in to your bloodstream. Leaky gut syndrome. Because inside of your colon, and this is just one section, inside of your colon, every single time you feel that knot there in your gut, that knot is that food that's stuck right there. And that food that's stuck right there is breaking that entire area down. It's deteriorating that area inside of your gut. When it's just sitting in there and it's just rotten and putrefying, it is just breaking down the components of everything in that gut. And if you want to understand that, it is the equivalent of taking 25 bums and just putting them in one room in a mansion. Okay? That's what it is. You had all these bums going through. Keep going, all right, keep going. The bums are carrying all that stuff. Yeah, they stinking, but they're going through it. Yeah, they stinking, they coughing, they carrying it, garbage, and yeah, boom, then they stopping. Oh, we can't get in there. Up, the bum, he just put his stuff down. Up, that bum, he just took his shoe off. Man, that smell. Up, that bum was like, oh, we stop. I'm going to go puke over here in this corner. I'm going to go shit over there. I'm going to go do something. Now what's going to happen to your gut? It's going to start breaking down and causing this leaky gut syndrome inside of your stomach. What else do we got here? We got PMS. Okay, we got spina bifida, Parkinson's disease, tremors. Okay, vitiligo. All right. All of these things that we have here, all of these are all caused by gluten. Okay, another thing we have here is malnutrition and nutritional deficiencies. Also, infertility. Your body, when you develop this syndrome, you have to understand that means that the garbage food that you're eating, once you develop leaky gut, what happens is, this is so huge. Your liver, your system needs to be closed off because every organ in there has a job to do. Your liver needs that blood so it can purify that blood so that you don't have this problem. But if it can't do its job because you have a hole in the system and it just leaks right into your blood, you're susceptible to anything because your defenses are down. You understand? So these grains that we have implemented into our diet now are literally breaking down our defenses from the inside out. All of these diseases, this hypoglycemia, this impotence, osteoporosis, insomnia, IBS, all this stuff that I'm looking at here, lactose intolerance, loss of smell. How many of you out there can't smell? And it's kind of crazy because a raw fruitarian or a vegan or somebody, we can actually smell the stench off of you. Like, we can smell the meat and the cheese. We can smell it on you. Like, we can smell it on you. And have you ever been around people and they're just like, I don't smell nothing. You smell everything. I don't smell nothing. You're just like, how the hell don't you smell? It's like, and it's because their system has been compromised by the overconsumption of grains. What else do you have here? Multiple sclerosis, early menopause, migraine headaches. A lot of you out there are suffering from migraine headaches and you don't know where they're coming from. I'm dealing with migraine. Oh, I just have bad migraines. I got bad migraines. And y'all just dealing with it. If you feel like you're having a problem inside of your body, most likely it's because of something you're putting inside of your body. So do a diagnostic test immediately. Find out what the body is sensitive to and remove it. The body does not like gluten in any form. So if you're out there and you're suffering from migraines, go, man, when do I suffer from migraines the most? I always suffer from migraines after you what? You have your coffee and your morning bagel? You know, after you have that sandwich, after you have that I don't even know. That's not even bread they got at Subways. That's something else. That's a technological invention. But after you eat that, do I have a migraine after I eat that? Is it after I eat my Chips Ahoy cookies that I have a migraine? Like, you gotta try and assess where this migraine is stemming from. Because most likely, it's stemming from the grain. You don't go and eat something beautiful and wonderful from Mother Nature and go, man, I'm having a migraine. Man, these apples keep giving me a migraine. You know, it's just, it just doesn't work that way. Okay? Anything else here I need to throw in with the gluten situation? Another problem it causes with the leaky gut and the whole grain situation is it causes a deficiency in vitamin thiamine, which is vitamin B1. And basically what that causes memory loss, depression, irritability. Did any of y'all know somebody who just can't remember anything? Anybody know anybody that's dealing with anxiety? Anybody notice anybody dealing with depression, fatigue? Look at their diet. Look at their diet and see if every single time they're eating, if they're having some wheat gluten, some corn gluten, or some kind of barley, rye, millet, or some kind of grainy gluten in there. See if their diet mainly consists of grains. If they do, you're going to notice that their belly might have a little pooch to it. You're going to notice that they seem a little irritable, like things don't really roll off their shoulder too well. You can't really poke them too much without them, going off. You're going to also notice that this person is, normally not a happy person. They're not the person that brings a bright light to your day. You're the person that usually has to bring a brighter light to their day. Usually because they're down in the dumps because they can't get up, out, and above the grain. They're like underneath, they're buried in grain. Their blood has been ingrained with wheat gluten. Okay? Remember this. Okay? Remember this. Remember all of this. Okay? Because all of this stuff that's going on here, every single thing, all of this stuff is tied into one thing. We got to understand something. Grains and meat and dairy product do not belong in our diet. We keep on hearing it. But the thing is, we go, yeah, I heard that, but ain't nobody really tell me why or what it's doing or why I should stop doing it or how it's causing me any problems. So I'm telling y'all right now, it's causing all kinds of problems. Okay, the abdominal pain, spontaneous abortions, Addison's disease, ADHD, alopecia hair loss, anemia. And anemia does not just mean iron deficiency. It can be folate, B12, B6, vitamin C, copper deficiency. These are all anemias. Do y'all understand? So there's people out there that's like, oh, I'm suffering from this because my blood is deficient in that. And I'm suffering from this because my blood is deficient in that. And it's just like, it's not only iron. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, your body is made up of so many different things, and we got to start breaking down these diseases that they're telling us about so that we can understand ourselves a little bit more so that we can make better decisions. So, going forward, what I want everybody to do is look around at yourself, look around at your coworkers, look around at your relatives, because that's what I use. I use my environment as my laboratory. You're all my laboratory. Everybody in my job, my coworkers, they're all my laboratory. I'm looking at them. I'm assessing what it is they eat, how it is they react to what it is they eat, what it is they do, how it is they react to that. I remember one time a friend of mine, I was like leaving his house, and then next thing you know, he had a whole bunch of bread, and he was eating a whole bunch of bread, and then after he ate all this bread,
yellow color,
he realized
yellow color, where are you?
After he ate all this bread, he realized that he was having an anger issue. He was irritable, and I remember him getting into a big spat right after he consumed all of this bread and this garbage. And the crazy thing is, if you look at people and you look at what it is they do, you'll understand that gluten and or this starch, because we're kind of missing the enveloping picture here that these grains are starches. Okay, these grains are binded proteins together, and these grains that go inside of our body, they shouldn't be there, and they're causing a whole bunch of problems, and we don't know how to handle it because it's ingrained. Again, it's ingrained in everything we eat and everything we do. It's everywhere. Okay? So, instead of trying to tell ourselves, because we know we like the way they taste, and we know what the grains do for our meals, we need to ask ourselves, are they actually really doing anything good for us? Are they actually really making me feel good? How am I